Anthony on Air podcast back for another episode, and we're talking about all the big stories right now. Rush Limbaugh, dead at the age of 70 today. We'll get into him and his career. There's some Ghislaine Maxwell news. She is alleging that she is being abused right now, so we'll get into that. Trump Plaza demolished. Governor Cuomo feels like they're out to get him. I don't know if I'm starting to see that snowball down the old hill there in this Governor Cuomo saga. He was threatening somebody, so we'll talk about that. Plus, COVID-19 human trials. Facebook making some huge news in Australia for my Australian friends. And Lil Nas X got some hooties.
I had to ask what that meant, but yeah.
I'm not sure if he really does or not, but we'll get into it coming up here on this episode of the Anthony on Air podcast, brought to you by our good pals over at Hero Soap Company. Link in the description below. Frankie C is here. Jay Sabs is on the way. Stay tuned for her. How you doing, my man?
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. Middle of the week.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Frank and I are born from the world of radio. So Rush Limbaugh dying is obviously, Rush has been a gargantuan personality in the world of our business for many, many years. I have to admit that up until a few years ago, I don't even know when, 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, never ever heard the guy actually on the air because he wasn't really in New York for the longest time. I mean, he was, but he wasn't on anything that I was, growing up, we were listening to like sports talk or Howard Stern or Hot Talk or this or that or, rock music. And that wasn't really, Rush wasn't really on many of those stations. He was kind of on the old conservative stations, which, by the way, 10 and 15 years ago were the stations that just were flat out not cool. I mean, a lot of them were AM stations, and, just had crusty old programming and stuff. And, but I was well aware. Here's my point. I was aware of Rush's prowess more so than I was aware of what he actually did on his show on a daily basis.
Yeah, you knew the name. But,
I knew the name. I knew.
Up, I didn't know anything about him.
Yeah, I knew the name. I knew like how much he would bill. Like I knew all the businessy radio side of his career that, when you're in the business, you read the trades about things that are going on, the controversial stuff, the other thing, the actual content itself, I never really, paid much attention to in my younger days, but certainly was well aware of, again, his stature in the business for sure. And I remember, I'm trying to find it on Instagram now, Frank, because it wasn't that long ago. So I really spent some time, and I did this as a bit years ago. I'll give you the exact date on when it was, when I actually kind of spent some time listening to Rush Limbaugh. Dear Lord, I thought I was going to say like 2016. This was 2012.
Okay.
So it was like 8 years ago.
9 years ago.
8 years ago, Rush did something. I don't even know what it was, but I was talking about him. And I remember I watched a clip of him on the air, and I noticed, and if anybody didn't know, he was on the internet. He was kind of a pioneer in internet, broadcasting his show via video over the internet. I don't think anybody would carry him TV wise. Like Imus always had a TV deal. Howard had a TV deal. A lot of local sports talk show hosts have TV deals in their local markets and things like that. Rush never really had that, and I wonder why. Because I feel like today he would have gone, like OAN would have killed for, would have murdered for his kind of programming, or Newsmax would have, they probably wouldn't have been able to
those
afford
two probably.
him. Yeah, they probably would have. Like Fox never wanted to put him on in the middle of the day. I wonder why that never came to be. Seemed like a natural fit.
It would seem that way. I gonna tell you flat out, I'm not a fan. I don't wish anybody,
Yeah, I'm
not
not
going to
surprised.
speak ill of the dead, but not a fan of this man or anything he says on the air.
Well, anyways, so 8 years ago, I came across some footage of him doing his show, and the thing that I could not get over, Frank, could not get over. Let me see if I can find a real photo of him in the studio. Because I don't know if he still did this or if this was just something that happened, years ago. And keep in mind, 8 years ago, I'm grinding it out on local, radio, doing the morning show here on the island. So anytime anybody else is getting any sort of publicity, I'm probably annoyed. Here we go. Here's a picture of Rush in studio. I'm going to see, this might not stand out to you, Frank, but I'm going to see, this is not a great picture, but I'm going to see if you notice something in particular. Do you notice what set me off about this photograph of Rush in studio?
I don't know what to tell you. What?
Okay. If for those of you who are watching and just listening, he has a gold-plated microphone.
Oh, okay.
Okay? This drove me...
I'm sure it's not real gold. I mean, maybe it is. Who the hell knows?
It probably is. This drove me crazy to no end because I'm obsessed with microphones, have always been. Always took interest in what kind of microphone. I got 7 microphones right now within here. I got this microphone here. I got a condenser microphone.
And here I am with a freaking headset microphone that costs like, I don't know, $9.99 at a gas station.
Yeah. Right. In this shot alone right now is $1,000 worth of microphones. Okay. All right.
That's a little much. I think at most you need maybe 1 microphone.
Yeah. Your old pal Ann is obsessed with microphones. So I see this and I go, what? How the hell? Now, I know the type of microphone. Most people will recognize this as a radio microphone. They'll be like, oh, that's like a radio microphone. That's an RE20. It's made by a company called Electro Voice. There's nowhere on the planet Earth where you could actually purchase a gold-plated version of their microphone. It does not exist. So I became completely obsessed with why this guy, like at what
I'm sure
point,
he had it custom made or something.
Of course, but I hate it. I hate that somebody got to a point
Get your
in their
microphone
career,
custom made. You can do it.
But my point is he got to a point in his career where he's like, do you know what I need and what I deserve, frankly, is a gold-plated microphone. And he went out and figured out a way to get a friggin' gold-plated microphone. That drove me up a wall.
It's it's the little things like that that get to you for some reason. I don't know why that little thing.
It's not that I was angry. It just set me off. It was just like, what was the process like? What were the meetings that took place? Did he have somebody call up Electro Voice and be like, hey guys, from Rush's team here. Yeah, would it be possible for you to gold plate one of your microphones?
Either that, I'm speculating. Maybe someone gave it to him as a gift. Maybe a sponsor gave it to him as a special thing.
Could have been.
Who the hell knows
where
that microphone came from?
I got so obsessed with it that I literally turned the studio microphone. I said, I'll be damned if Rush is going to be the only guy walking around here with a gold-plated microphone. So I de facto gold-plated my studio microphone by scotch taping highlighters. Yeah, I scotch taped a bunch of highlighters around the microphone.
That is pathetic, my friend. That is not. I thought they looked like little Nerf darts at first.
Yeah, they do.
Highlighters. Good. Hey, I'm sure that didn't mess with the sound at all either.
The engineer was not pleased with me at all. He was not happy when he saw this photograph. But my caption was, my brand new microphone inspired by Rush Limbaugh. Now I'm a fancy pants radio guy, too.
See, now, when I saw Rush, I thought we were talking about the band. I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, no, it's not Rush the band, and I just realized that I didn't have my arrow up there. But yeah, there you go. So that bothered me a little bit about Rush, that he had to have a gold-plated microphone, you know?
If that's the only thing that bothered you about Rush, what can I say?
Well, listen, the guy's not without controversy, of course. Died today at the age of 70. Let's go over some of the facts. Stage 4 lung cancer. He was diagnosed in early 2020. On February 4th, 2020, one day after publicly announcing his diagnosis, he attended the State of the Union, where then President Trump awarded the radio host the Medal of Freedom. We talked about that on this podcast, I believe, because he acted surprised, like he didn't know he was there to get an award when he knew full well he was there to get
the only reason you're there.
Yeah. Like it was like, well, he had knowledge that he was going to go, and then he was like, oh my goodness, he was so surprised. It was like, come on, guy. Jen Psaki, I screwed this up, but somebody told me told me how to pronounce it last episode. Current press secretary Jen Psaki said President Joe Biden passed along condolences to Limbaugh's friends and family today. In October, Limbaugh shared with his radio listeners that the new scan showed some progression and that it was in the wrong direction. At the time, he mentioned his cancer was likely terminal. He said in October, quote, "It's tough to realize that the days where I do not think I'm under a death sentence are over. Now we all are. It is the point. We all know that we're going to die at some point, but when you have a terminal disease diagnosis that has a time frame to it, then that puts a different psychological and even physical awareness to it." He went off the air on February 2nd for treatment, and I don't believe he ever returned.
Hey, it got screech in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He was diagnosed with it. 3 weeks later, he was gone.
It's crazy, right? I mean, it's sort
Same
of insane.
thing, stage 4 lung cancer.
He started, Frank, as a top 40 DJ, believe it or not, back in 1971 in Pennsylvania. He landed a talk show at KFBK in Sacramento, California in 1984. In 1988, he joined WABC in New York and had a national show on nearly 300 stations. That was always sort of the things that we kind of heard about, like, oh, he added this, he added that.
Yeah, I didn't follow it too closely. I just knew the name. I knew of the name. I never heard his show live when it happened or anything. I know clips, but I never really followed his show. I wasn't interested in anything he had to talk about.
Yeah.
It was political. I wasn't interested in anything political.
Here's what's interesting. And again, boy, I don't want to take him down a notch on the day that he lost his life, but I never, and I haven't listened enough to him, I never really thought, I wonder if he was that good. He's certainly talented. I'm not going to take that away. It would be stupid to say he wasn't talented. He's obviously talented. But I feel like he was a conservative voice at a time where media and radio in particular was sort of devoid of conservative voices. So, you know, once you kind of get on and you start to catch a little heat, it's easy to spread. I wonder how many other conservative voices out there that people would say are probably maybe a smidge more talented. Like, I can't remember anything sort of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Special about his delivery. He read and passed along news with a conservative voice.
He had a unique voice. I mean, the literal voice.
I mean, I respect
like the sound to him.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it, but to me, you know, people who have a bit more personality to them, I like a funnier personality for the radio.
Well, that's probably why he went more towards political stuff. He wasn't, a comedian.
Yeah, not that you have to be. I'm just saying, like, if I had to remember, like, Rush bits that were, like, in the Hall of Fame of bits, not one, although I do have a couple, but because I want to mention them, not one. No, I have a couple of his bits that somebody wrote about. Because again, I don't know anything about him, so I'm just going by what was written about him today. But there was
a few things.
There's
again.
Well, I'll bounce it off of you to see if you have it. But I know, like, with Stern or Opie and Anthony or I miss, like, there were like these benchmark bits that people still talk about today. A lot of Bob Grant, like, there were all these great personalities, Don K. Reed and Cousin Brucey. They have
I don't think he didn't do that kind of show, and when he did, it wasn't. I don't think he was anything special at the time.
Yeah.
He wasn't as big. Now, once he got notoriety, I think he was off of, that kind of radio. I don't think he stuck around with that kind of radio when that was, so he didn't do crazy bits, I don't think.
I guess not. But like everybody, I feel like you name a radio personality and there's a bit that's like a shadow that's right behind them. Like you could name a bit of theirs.
Anthony.
There's a lot of
What's
bits.
your shadow bit? What's the bit that defines you?
It depends on who you ask. It depends. I don't know. Like
people, you got a long career ahead of you, so
people who watch the podcast will talk about the sync thing recently, or I don't know. There's a billion things we've done on this podcast. People who listen to me on EHM will say different things. People who heard me on LNG will say different shit.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's fine. I don't know if I have I mean, my impressions, as you know, are just second to
legendary. Let's hear that Bob Hope.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That is an inside joke. I was Bob Hope in an 8th grade play.
I don't know what the hell that was, but you were Bob Hope. You had the putter.
Yeah.
And you screwed up the one joke that you had up there.
Oh yeah, I did.
That was a great one. The joke was supposed to be, I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out.
Yep.
But you went up there and said, I went to a hockey game and a fight broke out.
And it killed, though.
It's not funny. But some people laughed.
Yeah.
Everybody, for some reason, I mean, I guess you did the swing with the golf club, and you nailed it. It was incorrect, but you nailed it.
By the way, with apologies to Milton Berle, because we took, I think you helped me. We took jokes out of his book. We had to have a monologue.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that book.
We were recreating, it was an 8th grade play. We were recreating a Bob Hope special. What do they call that? USO special. And there had to be a monologue. So our teacher just laid a Milton Berle 500 jokes book, or 1,000, whatever, 50,000 jokes. One of these, it was a huge book, and she was just like,
did she even approve them? I don't even know. I feel like she just said, yeah, just say whatever, and then when you're done, that'll be it.
It was basically, she was teaching us to be plagiarists, because we could have wrote our own material, to be honest with you.
I don't think we could have.
Milton stuff is gold. Anyway.
12.
Yeah. So this was an exchange that I saw on Twitter. And again, I don't like to delve too deep into Twitter arguments. It's literally like getting in between a fight between my mother and father. I just don't care. And it doesn't matter all at the end of the day anyway. But one person on Twitter said that liberals who didn't listen to Rush and just read the Media Matters accounts never understood how funny he was, much to my point that I was just making now. What set him off his many imitators was how wildly entertaining he was and the absolutely unbreakable bond he formed with listeners. Now, I think he formed a bond with listeners. I don't remember funny bits. And again, I've been in radio for a really long time. So even oh God, who are the guys in LA who were on K-Rock for years? Their name escapes me, but there were plenty of radio personalities that I would never listen to, but I would hear about their bits,
Right.
Toucher and Rich up in Boston. I never heard about them, but there were certain things that you would just hear about. I never heard about a bit from Rush. So anyway, this guy gets an answer from this other guy named Kevin, and he asks, what was funnier, mocking Michael J. Fox's Parkinson's, or the, quote, AIDS update where he rejoiced in the deaths of people with that disease?
There you go.
And if you had to pick a classic joke, calling 12-year-old Chelsea Clinton the White House dog, or playing Barack the Magic Negro. Did he really play a bit that was Barack the Magic Negro?
He threw that word, from what I understand. I've seen clips and I've read transcripts. He threw that word around
quite often,
like he was saying, anything else. It was not good.
I never heard.
There was a lot of that, and the AIDS thing. It was he would read off names of people who recently died of AIDS while playing celebratory music.
Why? What was the bit? I don't get that one.
It was just I don't know. I don't know why he thought it was funny, but he was just putting down people who had AIDS.
Was this like in 1975 or 1985 or
I
whatever?
don't know I don't know when that was, but I feel like anytime that's not good.
I mean, yeah, I'm not condoning this, but the world was a different place 30 years ago. And a lot of bits that were done on the radio didn't really age well. We were talking about this. We were going back to Britney, and she would go on interviews, and they would ask her if she was sleeping with Justin Timberlake, and she was like 19 or whatever she was. You know, like a lot of that stuff doesn't age well.
Yeah. I mean, just, I don't want to, he died today. I don't want to speak ill, but
yeah,
just a lot of bits that were, not good. Just not, again, I don't want
to see that. And that maybe this is my whole point is like the news guys, not the funniest guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you see like Hannity or, like Don Lemon or Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo is not a funny gentleman whatsoever.
Every now and then he'll come out with one thing and you're like, it's not funny, but
yeah,
whatever. But
when you see
for the most
these
part, they're not comedians.
These straight-laced news people try and make jokes. It just
doesn't work.
As somebody who's really hilarious, it hurts my heart. It pains me greatly.
I understand. Same boat.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Hey.
You're always there for me, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, listen, whenever I can be. So let's move on to cheerier stuff. How's Ghislaine doing these days?
So Ghislaine Maxwell is complaining that she's being physically abused by a jail guard. She was physically abused by a jail guard during a pat-down search and is withering away to a shell behind bars, dropping weight and losing her hair. An attorney for the accused madam said in court papers filed just yesterday. In the letter to Judge Allison Nathan, Maxwell's attorney complained about conditions she faces at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, including sleep deprivation, inedible food, and the alleged abuse by a jail guard. Now, we've heard about all of these except for the jail guard thing before. We've heard about people waking her up in the middle of the night, so she's bringing this back. See, this is a Ghislaine bit. See, Ghislaine knows how to do a callback. I don't know about Rush, but Ghislaine
comes back every week, and it's I don't want to say classic.
She's bringing the bits back, like, oh, they're waking me up again. We remember. That's a callback. We remember that.
That's true.
The letter states that Maxwell is subject to constant searches, about 4 per day, and surveillance by jail guards, which she claims is to make up for the Bureau of Prisons' failure to prevent her alleged cohort, Jeffrey Epstein, from killing himself in 2019. Yeah. I mean, is that something that...
I mean, she's got to be checked up on and stuff, but the abuse thing... I know what kind of person she is.
Well, no, she's just saying that she's getting special treatment because of what happened to Epstein, and I'm kind of like, well, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true. Your point, it's like, what's her point? Yeah,
her point is that she had nothing to do with him, so don't treat me like that.
Too bad. Yeah, that's why you're here.
Agree. I mean, you can't, This is like
nothing to do with him.
Like if you arrested gang members. Like if you arrested people that were in a gang and one of them did something, and you were extra cautious with the other ones that were, like, isn't that fair game? That should be.
Yeah. Once you're affiliated with someone and you're in the same kind of racket.
Yeah.
You kind of, I wouldn't say treat them the same, but you have to keep an eye on them the same way you would. I mean, if Epstein never committed suicide, yeah, maybe she wouldn't get treated this way, but he did. You knew him. You were with him for a long time.
Yeah.
You're in the same boat kind of right now. So we got to watch you.
Like,
deal with it.
If she ever got suicided, this Maxwell, like there would be no trusting anything anymore. Like people would lose their minds. You can't.
So they got to watch her. That's a separate thing. Yes, we got to watch you. Got to keep an eye on you. I get that. That makes sense. The abuse. No, I mean, that's wrong everywhere. Abuse is wrong everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Nobody's saying she should. Yeah, of course.
Yes, I know what kind of person she is.
You don't want her getting abused because you don't want her to have get a
something
technical.
To fight back
exactly.
With.
Exactly.
And, and we as the law-abiding people are better than these people that are being accused of this stuff. So we're not we don't want to. It's just a cliche, but we don't want to stoop to their level, and no abuse is acceptable anywhere. So this is. I know she's a terrible person, but again, it would give her fuel. And anybody acting that way shouldn't be acting that way.
Bobby Sternheim, her attorney, wrote, Miss Maxwell continues to be at the mercy of a revolving group of security officers who are used to guarding hundreds of inmates, but now focus their undivided attention exclusively on one respectful, middle-aged female pretrial detainee. Boy, these lawyers, they are something else, aren't they?
She's been a good prisoner.
She's a respectful, middle-aged female pretrial detainee. Let's make sure that we refer to her that way for the duration of the trial, Frank.
Yeah, I'll write that down.
Make a note of that. Can you make one of your really great, awesome graphics with that?
Yeah, here it is.
Recently, out of the view of the security camera, Miss Maxwell was placed in her isolation cell and physically abused during a pat-down search. When she asked that the camera be used to capture the occurrence, a guard replied no. When Miss Maxwell recoiled in pain, and when she said she would report the mistreatment, she was threatened with disciplinary action. Guards then forced Maxwell to clean a shower with a broom as retaliation for reporting the abuse, the letter claims. The letter was filed in response to a message by prosecutors about Maxwell's jail conditions. Nathan in December ordered prosecutors to submit written updates about Maxwell's lockup conditions every 60 days after she complained about them in a separate letter.
So what has to happen from this is an investigation, no? I mean, they would have to...
Yeah, I guess so. Sternheim added that the note that Maxwell is awakened constantly during the night because guards flash a light at the ceiling of her isolation cell every 15 minutes. She's also withering away due to inedible food and grimy water dispensed at the jail. That I don't feel bad.
Now, I'm not saying they should be treated like, they're in the Hilton.
Right.
But at the very least, they should be kept alive.
At the very bare minimum, I feel.
We don't want them. We want them to be able to stand trial.
Yeah.
We want them physically able to do that. We don't want them to have any ammunition to call for a mistrial or anything like that. And as the good guys are not supposed to act like the bad guys.
Right.
As a general rule. That's all I'm saying. I know she's a terrible person. But again, good guys need to be good guys, bad guys get punished when they're bad guys.
Today is February 17th. So let's put it on the clock. 60 days. We'll wait for the next complaint about how.
All right, I'll write that next to her new name.
Yeah. All right, that next to the graphic. We're counting down to the next time she complains about inedible food in jail.
I wonder what it is. I wonder what it's not bread and water. I wonder what they actually get.
I don't know, but it can't be great. But what do you?
I'm sure it's not great.
No.
But if is it a Swanson TV dinner? Is it like?
Now I know a cop, Frank. You don't know this cop. Frank and I know a cop, but I know a cop. You don't know this person.
Wait, do I know this cop?
Who told me that they get vouchers. There's one prison or jail, or I don't know what the difference is. But there's one place where when they arrest somebody, because there's no food at the place, they get vouchers to go to Mickey D's and pick up McDonald's. Because I guess if they hold you for a certain amount of time, they have to feed you. Like when you first get arrested. So they'll get like a voucher to go and get McDonald's.
What do you mean go and get?
Like the cops have to go and get it. Like they don't let.
Okay.
They don't give the criminal the voucher.
You bring this to McDonald's. They'll give you a Big Mac. You come right back. All right.
It reminded me, like when the cop told me this, I was like, is that kind of like how I used to get like a free hamburger coupon in my dentist bag? Like when you come back from the dentist, there was always that little bag with treats in it. Yeah, they had like a pencil always and like sugar-free gum. And there was always like a voucher for a McDonald's burger.
Shaped like something.
An eraser shaped like a tooth. Yeah. It's always...
But they get they get a voucher. McDonald's, I'll settle for it. That's fine.
I was gonna say that's like a treat. Like, are you kidding me? When like my wife is like, "Hey, it's been a rough day. I'm getting McDonald's for the kids." I'm like excited. I'm like, "I'll score.
Sign me up."
Yeah, let's get some McChickens going up in this.
I don't know if she's getting McDonald's. I don't think that
No,
unless
no,
they're
she's
like
not
doing
getting
something to
McDonald's.
the food, unless they're doing something to the food,
Yeah.
McDonald's would be fine. But she's probably not getting that.
Well, a lot of McDonald's can definitely be a punishment. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have more than 2 hamburgers.
That could be
You're
rough.
punishing your toilet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But like get it like I when he said that to me, like, yeah, well there's no food, so we have to get a McDonald's. I'm like, that's kind of like a perk, that doesn't seem right.
That McDonald's must be doing good business.
Yeah.
Open up a McDonald's next to a prison.
Next to a prison, like gangbusters. Governor Cuomo supposedly throwing some threats around. We'll get to that story, but first, let's talk about Trump Plaza. Trump Plaza was the first casino that Donald Trump ever built in Atlantic City, and they demolished that bad boy today. Blew it up completely. I'll tell you what, it went down rather fast. And having been in that building myself,
that's what she said.
That was it.
I had to throw one in there because the last video we did without J Sabs.
Yeah, we were missing them.
We were missing a few of those.
But look at this building go down. Like, it went down fast.
There it goes.
That was fast.
That's in Atlantic City.
Yeah. And like, there wasn't like a big, usually like you kind of like see the explosions a little bit from the outside.
Yeah. I think all the tinted windows and stuff, who the hell knows?
Yeah.
And it was daytime. Yeah, that thing, they did a good job imploding that sucker.
But what's weird is, I guess they're building like, this is what's funny to me. Atlantic City doesn't strike me as a place that you need to knock down buildings to then build bigger ones. Like, there's plenty of area in Atlantic City to build bigger buildings if you really want to build them.
Unless that, what I can imagine is that building probably had so many violations or something that they just were like, you know what? It's not going to be worth redoing this hotel as anything other than let's knock it down and build something new.
You're right. 39-story tower, which stood empty for years. Officials were keen to destroy it amid complaints that chunks of concrete were falling off the building.
Boom.
Yeah. Wow.
See, I don't know what could have prevented that, but I don't know, maybe pay the guys who built it. That's all I'm saying. All right, I'm done.
Never miss a chance.
I'm done. I can't. You tee them up for me, and that's what I'm going to do.
I'll tell you what, though. That seawater air that's right there would just kind of eat away at anything, I feel. Like, that's after a while. Yeah. And
especially, 5 years, nobody's in it, but I don't see what being in the building would have anything to do with
it's a weird
concrete falling.
Yeah, but it's a weird thing about, like, upkeep. Like, when you're not, like, when you can't catch a problem early. You know what I mean? True. In an abandoned building, like that stuff could add up. And there's a great guy out there. I think the kid was like 14 when he started the series. I don't know how old he is now, but he was a kid when he started it. But if you go on YouTube and you just search abandoned.
Oh, there's a lot of those kind of videos. People just walking through abandoned places. Yeah. You
get stuck down one of those rabbit holes. There's no coming out of them, my man. Like, it is tough.
Yeah. Especially the ones that claim that there's like ghosts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You ever see those? And there's like someone in the background. There's like a shadow.
Yeah.
They highlight it and, like, freaks you out.
But this one kid that I like, he not only goes to the places sometimes, but he gives you the whole history on how it got to where it got, like why this happened, And it's, I find those things so interesting for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I just find that interesting.
And yeah, I don't think we're going to be doing that. Are we searching through abandoned places?
No, you don't have to worry about
I'll
that.
travel and I'll do food tastings and stuff, but.
Do I look like the kind of guy that would hop a fence? I mean,
yeah, I'm not throwing on a headlamp and camping in an abandoned bathroom.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's not for me.
But Atlantic City is like, I don't know. It is such a place in my heart because, like, for New Yorkers and people in the Northeast, like, especially like when you turn to a certain age, especially if you were an Italian with a gambling problem, right. You went there quite often, and every time you went there, there's something about that city, and I don't feel like any other city is like this, where you always are constantly seeing the potential of what this place could have been and never ever was and never came close to being. Like,
Yeah, it just they have all these huge casinos and hotels, lights, and it wants to be Vegas so bad. But then once you step away from the casinos, it's a little shady.
you better have a weapon on you. Like,
A lot of abandoned houses. There's like an abandoned church on like every block,
yeah,
which is weird. A lot of abandoned buildings, lots, weird businesses, strip clubs,
a lot of gold buying.
motels.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, like I was in Atlantic City probably 15 to 20 times before the first time I literally stepped out of a casino property and like walked in the area.
Yeah, if you can go to Atlantic City and stay within, because a lot of the casinos connect. A few of them do.
Yeah.
Or if you could walk the
The
boardwalk, that's
boardwalk
probably
is
the best way
fine,
to do it.
right? Yeah. But I remember like we found that there was this one seafood place that was like killer, but it was like off the beaten path, and
I remember that
it was
place.
not in a good neighborhood whatsoever. And I
No, it
remember
was
going
not.
there, just going, "Oh my god!" Like,
Yeah, that was not. I can't remember the name of that place, but it was
no,
good.
and neither do I.
And one thing you would expect in Atlantic City is good seafood.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine Vegas on a beach. Like, I mean, it sounds so much more beautiful. Like and I could be on the
Theoretically.
beach. You know,
Yeah, no, I know. And you know what? It's like they took Vegas and they just got it hooked on meth.
that's really what it. Yeah, it just
It's
got
the J Sabs of casino. No, I'm kidding.
it got addicted to meth
It did.
and it never
It,
really reached that full potential. Kind of like J Sabs, the same thing, same thing. Same
yeah,
thing
it's the
with J
J
Sabs.
Sabs of podcast hosts.
She was supposed to be on Rush Limbaugh's show, and it instead got that meth thing going, and then had to just she settled in here. That was basically she's the
Listen, we'll take some dregs. That's fine.
she's the Atlantic City of radio hosts. It's amazing. Yeah, but I don't know, like just watching this thing get demolished, like and the thing with Atlantic City too is that like time and time again, you always thought like remember when they were building Revel?
Yeah.
They at some point during the boom pre 2009 when the world was just skyrocketing in wealth, you know, they started building this huge building and it was like we're gonna bring Vegas to Atlantic City. And I remember just like going, wow, this is amazing. Like this, like renderings, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be ridiculous. Like this is going to change the face of Atlantic City. Like here it finally is. And then the Lehman Brothers thing hit and that building stayed abandoned for years and years and years. And I still don't even think that thing is fully open at this point.
I'm not sure, but the only really good place, maybe there's a couple of places that I'm not aware of, to go now there is, I would say, the Borgata and maybe Marriott, I think. I don't know. No, Harrah's. Harrah's is pretty good.
Yeah, speaking of meth addictions, here comes Jay
There
Sebs
she
right now.
is.
Well, you were talking about Ace Atlantic City?
We're talking about Atlantic City. Yeah, how it never ever got to its full potential of like what it was supposed to be.
See now,
I mean,
go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, I agree, and I was just there. Like,
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You went there
5
this
days
weekend.
ago.
Where
Yeah.
did you stay?
Caesars.
Okay.
Where'd you get
nice? Is
COVID
it
though?
I was not really happy. I'll be honest. Harrah's I thought was much better.
Okay, this is every conversation about Atlantic City. I was just in Atlantic City. Oh, you're kidding. Where'd you stay? Caesars. How'd you like it? Yeah, it wasn't great.
All right.
You know what? I had a free room,
There you go.
Oh, nice.
but it was weird because it was a room that was inside.
Oh, there
Like-
was no window?
There was a window, but it looked not into the casino, but into the hotel. If that makes sense.
Oh, I don't mind that. I like
What is
actually kind of
that?
like that.
Oh, I don't like that. Even though I made good town dues. Never mind.
Oh,
Now
We were on the.
it was
no,
a free
so-
room. What was the name of the sugar daddy that was paying for it?
right.
good question.
No, it was weird because it was it was the South Tower, I think, and there was only 8 floors, and we were on the 4th floor, So we weren't on the main floor, obviously.
Can you legally call it a tower if it's only 8 floors?
We looked down, so it wasn't like you were like eye level.
Right.
But if people looked up, they could probably see us doing stuff in the window.
So you were overlooking what? You were overlooking like a walk.
The hotel lobby check-in.
Okay.
Did you do stuff in front of the window? Did you subject people to that? Oh man.
There you go.
Your poor husband.
See?
But I was like, I don't really feel like going back down or calling and saying, can I have a different room? So I'll just leave it. But next time, you bet your ass I'm changing it.
Oh my
God.
God.
To see the outside world.
I'm going to be Karen. Excuse me. To your manager.
Janine just said that she was too tired to go and have the room changed. That is a feeling my wife has never ever felt in her entire life. Because your old pal Ann will change her room. I've changed the room 3 or 4 times.
I'm sure they love you at those hotels.
First of all, you just said you liked Harrah's?
Yes.
I like Harrah's, yeah.
We get into Harrah's. Frank, you were there, right? That was a trip you were there. Yep. I walk into the room. You know when light hits a wet stained area, how it gets that gleam on it, but you can only see it from a certain angle? And I say wet stained area, and I think we all know what I'm talking about here. Things that can spray and shoot. Yeah. I walk into the room and I look at the wall and I go, what did they film of? Orgy scene in here? What has happened? Like, it was like all over the wall, but it was only at like a certain angle. And like the furniture was like chipped and dirty. And I was like, I can't stay in this room. I can't stay in this room.
Just because you can see it. Do you think any other room is going to be any better? It's just that you can't see it.
Listen, I mean, you tell me one person that's going to be like, "Oh, the splooge on the wall was great. Let's stay here.
No,
this is fantastic."
I agree with you, but
I had to tell you something funny about that.
Yeah.
So, I don't remember. We went with you guys. Remember the time I forgot Gaetano's bag at home?
That's another great Atlantic City story.
I don't think I was there for that.
I don't think you were there for that either, Frank. I don't think you made that one, but we all went. This was around Christmas time. This was the last time I went.
Really? So that's 5 years ago.
And that was right after my son was born. Yeah, we went around Christmas time. Yeah.
Well, part one of that story is we decide to go. I always pack Gaetano's bag because, he's fucking 12 years old. And we get to Atlantic City. And I said, "Where's your bag?" And he goes, "I thought you took it." I'm like, "No, I thought you took it." He goes, "I told you to take it." And I'm like, "No, I didn't. No, you didn't." So he had nothing with him. And we had to go to the outlets and shop. And when we got home, I raced inside to see where it was. And in fact, he was right. Because I remember I put it in a laundry basket. And I said, he asked me, "Can you take this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take it out of the laundry basket." Yeah, I forgot.
Now, did you admit to him that he was right?
Later on, I did.
Okay.
But when we got there, I tried to make him feel bad.
Right.
Second part, this is kind of disgusting.
By the way, before you get to the second part, can I just tell you how happy it made me to like Janine and her husband were like not fighting, but they were snipping at each other. And he was so unhappy because we were like, "Oh, let's go here." And he's like, "I can't go there. I'm wearing jogging pants." Whatever it was, like he had to go and get stuff, and he's like, "I don't have underwear." Like the whole thing was a nightmare.
Was it because you never see him angry, and you like to see him?
By the way,
I've never seen Guy angry.
Non-angry guys ever. Yeah, and I would say technically he was angry. You probably couldn't even really tell that he was angry because he was still smiling and laughing about it all. But I just remember I said to D too. I was like, I would be so pissed. I would be so pissed. And that's also my worst nightmare. My worst nightmare is getting to some place on a trip, opening up the trunk, and your thing's not in there. Just
I'd be afraid that I left it like outside my front door, like on the porch. I have
Yes.
to call neighbors. Is there a luggage outside on my front lawn?
Yeah. One of
Now-
my early Janine, I will get to your story, I promise. But one of
No,
my
go ahead.
earliest panic attacks as a kid, my sister moved to Colorado, so my father decides one year that we're gonna spend like 4 weeks like Griswolding through, the mountains of Colorado and everything. So we're driving through, I forget what deserty area. We stay somewhere, and we're in the car, and I remember putting my suitcase down in front of the car, but I can't remember putting it into the trunk. And so we're driving to this desert. We have like 7 more hours to go. We're like an hour into the drive, and I'm like, oh shit, I think I left my suitcase
No.
in the thing, and I'm just
How
panicking.
do you bring that up?
And yeah, like how do you bring? And my father is like, boy, the car's getting, because we had to rent a car. It's 146,000 degrees. He's like, the car's starting to overheat. I'm a little concerned. Like the air conditioner's not really working. Like the air's kind of, it's a brand new car, but it's like 140. It's the desert. I'm like, I can't tell him to pull over here. So for 7 hours, I just stayed in a constant panic that when we would open that trunk, there was going to be no suitcase there.
Was it there?
Yeah, it was there. Of course it was there.
Oh.
But that's what I thought of when
no.
you left the suitcase back in Atlantic City. Go ahead, Janine. Tell part
You know
two.
what's funny though? I vividly remember you laughing so hard at it.
I was so happy. Yeah, I was so happy.
No one else was as happy
all right.
as you were.
Now this weekend's going to be interesting.
Because I'm naturally an asshole, and I get joy out of people's misfortune.
I mean, he honestly was fine after we went to the outlets, but it was just funny. But the same trip, I can't remember why I used Liz and Anthony's shower or something. I don't remember why. But I get out of the shower and I said, oh, thanks for leaving that razor in there for me.
Oh, no.
And Liz was like, that wasn't mine. And I was like, wait, what? Are you sure? Are you sure? And it was definitely someone that they left there.
Oh, it was the last guest of that room. Oh. And you used
Thankfully, no curly black hairs in there.
Oh.
I can't even look at you. I can't.
All right. Even if it was Liz and Anthony's, friends of ours, if it was their razor.
Thank you. Why
No,
are you
using their razor?
I can't remember why I thought she gave it to me. I can't remember why. I don't know if she said I left something in there. I don't know why. But I thought, oh, she left this in there for me. Okay. And she was like, no, I didn't. What?
Oh, God.
What? I'm not telling my husband
man.
now. After I forgot his clothes and shoes and underwear and everything at home.
That was a stellar weekend.
Terrible.
That was a stellar weekend.
But back to your original statement. I do think that they want it to be more of a resort,
Yeah.
Like even I remember my mother telling me that my grandmother was so excited to go there because it was going to be so different and it was going to be like a resort. Kind of like how Palm Springs is to California.
Yeah.
That
wasn't.
Atlantic City would be?
Yeah.
Even when Trump first invested in Atlantic City, that was a huge story because it was like, here comes big corporate money
Yep.
coming that like not only is it Donald Trump, but who else is going to follow? What other millionaire is going to follow Donald Trump into Atlantic City? And people did. Other millionaires came in and put money around and did all this stuff. And they thought it was going to be like this huge grand thing. And it never got there. And to the point, like Janine stayed in Caesars. I bet you the shittiest room in Caesars in Vegas is probably 1 billion times more nicer than the best room in Caesars in Atlantic City. Like
I know. And you know what? I wonder why.
I don't know.
It's just like, and there's a lot of hotels there.
And
You know?
and by the way, to stay in a dump of a room that is Motel 6 quality that you wouldn't pay $49 for in Atlantic City on a Saturday night is $400 to $700 for the night.
I wouldn't say it was horrible. It was good. The bathroom was a little small for me, and I was comparing it to Harris, which we just stayed in November.
Yeah, Harris, I didn't have any complaints. I know you did. Anthony. But
they redid a couple of towers, and maybe that's why it was nicer. But
maybe.
I mean, the other hotels that are there, like the Claridge, it's not a casino anymore. But we went to go see a comedy show there. Shout out Chrissy D, Chrissy Chaos. And they still do stuff there, even though it's not a casino anymore. It's just a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody advertises anymore. Yeah.
But the hotel there, I mean, it looks seedy, and I'm sure it was like 200 on Friday night, and these people are still staying there too. Like, I've never stayed at a shitty hotel in AC. I've always stayed at the casino ones. How about you?
I've done both, because there would be nights where it would literally be, and this is like, you'd get off of work on a
Five
Friday.
to 700. Yep.
Your idiot brother would be like, "Hey, we're going to Atlantic City.
No.
Like, when did this get decided?" He'd be like, 5 minutes ago, and you're like, "That's so stupid." And he'd be like, "Are you
That's
coming?" And
pretty
you'd be like,
typical of him.
"Yes, of course I'm coming." And you get in there, and it's just but you're splitting a room, 4 guys, and you're still paying like $150 a guy just to get it. But there would be times where we couldn't even get into a casino room, so the only thing that was available was those hotels like that were 20 minutes away.
Which is fine. My wife and I, we did that. We went to AC once, and we stayed the next outside the town,
like
right
White
outside.
Horse Pike.
Absecon?
Yeah, like Absecon.
Yeah.
Yes.
We stayed out there, and there's a hotel there, and
Awful.
it's fine.
You can ask my wife. I am on a Borgata or bust policy these days. And I'm not going to be honest with you.
Nice there too,
I'm going to be honest with you. Borgata has 2 hotels in it, the Borgata and the Water Club. I'm getting to the point where even the Borgata is getting skeevy to me, that I only want to stay in the more upscale Water Club thing. Yeah.
They keep losing money, then the quality is going to start dipping. Cleaning staff, you can only pay so many people to do.
There is no way they up their COVID cleaning standards in that city. No way. The only thing they're probably doing different is sticking that remote in a baggie. That is it.
You know it.
That is it.
The only way I'm ever going to feel comfortable in a hotel is if they physically remove the room and implant a new room.
Yes, agreed.
Because the mattress, you got to figure whoever slept on, forget the sheets. The mattress is absorbing every odor,
it's just
whatever. The furniture.
Wait, did you guys feel like a little sadness when you saw Trump Plaza go down a little bit? I mean, Frank, you don't care.
Frank,
that's just not.
It's a building.
But, I mean, you know what? I had my bachelorette party there.
Did you really?
Went to the Casbah. Yeah.
No, that wasn't
right next to Caesars.
No, the Casbah. The Casbah. That was in Trump Taj Mahal.
That's what I was thinking.
That wasn't in Trump Plaza.
Wait, which one is Trump Plaza then?
Trump Plaza
when
was
you're going towards Atlantic City. I think it's to the right.
It was the old one. It was the first one you saw. It was basically the highway would dump right into it, because the convention hall is right there. That was the one.
It's not on the boardwalk.
It is, but you drove in Atlantic City. It worked like this: you drove right up to that hotel, and then you made a left to go to every other single hotel. But that was the hotel like you made a left at before you got down to all the other hotels on the rest of the strip. In fact, there was only one. I think the Tropicana was the only hotel that was to the right of that hotel. Like everything else was to the left of that hotel.
Yeah, Atlantic City Expressway went straight.
That's it. The
and then to the right is Tropicana. Then there's the Trump Plaza, and then everything's to the left.
Yep.
Oh.
But that was one of the oldest. That was one of the oldest ones, and that was connected to the convention hall. And Trump ran the convention hall there for a little while. And he brought a hockey team in there, I think, and one of the WrestleManias, I think, was there early on or something, and that was like a big deal, part of the whole. Everything is going to be revitalized in Atlantic City, and then just it all just never ever happened, And
the area around it is not great at all.
No, not at all. Not.
And that usually does happen with casinos, they say.
Yeah.
But Atlantic City is just, I mean, there's a great Instagram. It's called Atlantic City Crust. And it is, I can't even tell you.
It's bad?
It's pretty funny characters on there.
Well, you know what's
just
crazy?
Just think Frank from Shameless.
You know what's crazy? Even in Vegas, like there's areas around Vegas that aren't great, but you can walk around Vegas for hours without seeing anything suspect.
Yeah.
Whereas in Atlantic City, if you literally walk 10 feet in the wrong direction, you can get knifed.
Yeah. If you walk on that main street.
Yeah,
no good.
I mean,
it's dimly lit. There's just abandoned buildings.
Yeah.
You have to know the exact street you're going to if you're going from casino to casino. If you're not going on the boardwalk. Yeah. That's where all the people are going between hotels.
Yeah.
Unless you go to Bear Exposure, then you do have to walk on the street.
Take a cab.
Frankie, you ever been there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Has he ever been there? One of the backstages is named after him. He put so much money into that place.
Main stockholder.
Yeah.
Shall we tell them what goes on at Bear Exposure? I mean, I personally have been there once.
I think people can figure out that Bear Exposure is a strip club. I think they can.
Figure that out.
Yeah.
I've been there a few times.
It's one of the
weird... Whoa, Frankie!
Bachelor parties. That's where we went.
It's one of the weird strip clubs, too, where... Is it a Jersey law where you can't have nudity? Or is that a New York? I don't know.
I think it's Jersey.
Yeah, you can't have nudity and alcohol in the same place.
So there's a liquor store attached to it. Mm-hmm. So you go in and you buy the liquor at the liquor store.
Yeah.
And you carry it into the casino.
Because they can't serve it. You can have alcohol there, but they can't serve it. They can't
sell it.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you go to the liquor store and you buy a bucket and whatever you want, and ice, and they'll give you ice, and you throw in. It's just this.
And you just you go out the door, you walk 10 feet, and you're in the strip club with all your liquor.
It's the most savage, stupid thing ever.
Can I just tell you what happened when I went in there?
Yes, please.
I had to pee so bad. So the only bathroom.
Oh, you didn't go to the bathroom, did you? Dear
what
God.
Are you doing?
Goodness.
Dressing room, where the girls are.
They let you go into the dressing room?
Yeah. They probably thought I was a stripper myself.
I was gonna say that's how they recruit girls. I think you started an application
with what I was dressed in, probably. So I was like, "Oh no!" Then it's okay, and they're like, "No, come in." So I was like, "Okay." Well, let me just tell you. Well, obviously, no wonder strip clubs are dark.
Yeah,
because it was light in there. Oh,
gross.
But this was the backstage. This was the strippers' restroom, right?
Yeah, but I guess
not
because
open
I was
to
a
the
girl,
public.
they were like, no, go, you could go in. I was like, okay.
And it was
like, as long as you sing to Drop It Like It's Hot, you're good. I was like,
you only
okay.
Have 3. You're in there for 3 songs, then you got to leave.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 places where you never want to see the backstage area: a strip club and Disney. I think it just ruins the magic in both cases.
Right. You're like, oh.
Or a casino, because that usually means you're going to get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Right.
You're getting
all right, Ocean's 11. One of the best movies ever made, though.
What? Is it?
I like that movie. I always liked that movie.
What was
the original or the Brad Pitt one?
Well, no, the Brad Pitt one.
I didn't hear what you first said, Janine. You were there when they made it?
I like Ocean's 11.
Oh, I like Ocean's 11. What was wrong with
Ocean's
Ocean's 11?
She said it was the best movie ever made. She said.
One of the best ever made.
I thought it was pretty good.
Not the best ever made, obviously.
I put it up there.
Obviously, it's Star Wars.
Frank, when's the last time you were at AC?
Oh, it's been a long time. It's been a bunch of years. Me and my wife went, I'd say maybe 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago.
See, now I like to go because you can go from casino to casino, and they do have good restaurants there.
They do.
They do. We actually ate at Gordon Ramsay Steak.
Nice.
How was that?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. The drinks were really good too. And within a half an hour I was there, I won $750.
Whoa.
Doing what?
And then I went to Bay Exposure.
Nice.
I made it rain. Man, you know it.
Who are you, Jay? You win all this money and then you go, let's go to the strip club.
Is that his thing?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I didn't hear that.
What were you playing? What did you win? How did you win?
Slot machine.
Wow. See, I never do the slot machines, and that's where everybody wins.
Now, did you leave with that money, or did you put it all back?
Well, here's the thing.
Nope.
I brought $200 with me, And after I won that, I'm like, I'm going to cash out at $750. Cashed out. Because I won a little bit more. I was up to $840. Then I cashed out at $750. Then I took the 100 and I played. And I played like basically all night. And then I came home with 700. Well, really 800.
800. So 600 because you came with two?
Yes.
That's a good day.
So you were up $600. That's pretty great. Way to go.
Yeah, I don't know what that feels like because I've never left with more money in Atlantic City.
Really?
I don't even know that's how I know when it's time to leave, when I have no more money. I'm like, oh, this
that's
must
the
be
yeah.
Trips must be over.
That's why I don't understand why they charge you for parking when you leave. They should charge when you come in.
Yeah, get that money on the way in.
You're like, I can't pay you the $10. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I
don't know what to tell you.
Nothing left.
But you go there, and if you win right when you get there, you're screwed. Because you can't stop playing because you're there for 2 days, 3 days.
Yep.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna play.
I kept playing and winning with that money, and then I said, let me stop. Played more that night, played more the next morning, and then came home, with my money.
That's unbelievable.
I wanted to put another 100 in there though. You know how bad I wanted to, so I was sweating. I was like, should I do it?
I didn't know Janine was quite the gambler here. I didn't know this.
Do you play table games at all, or just?
I do.
Okay.
I do like blackjack.
I thought you were going to say Pai Gow poker.
My favorite though is Let It Ride.
Oh, you'll lose a lot of money quick on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but once I won $500.
Man.
In Connecticut. I was lucky. I was like, oh my God, what should I do?
See, Connecticut, there's an example of there's casinos, and you can walk around, and the neighborhood, it's in the middle of like the woods.
It's in the middle of the forest, yeah.
But there's nothing, it's not in a terrible place.
Which one are you talking about?
Foxwoods or what's the other one?
Foxwoods is a little sketchy though, isn't it? I think Mohegan's a nicer one.
Mohegan.
I did a that race I did there, and it was around Mohegan, and it was really cool.
Oh, really?
It was through the woods.
That's kind of
What's
fun.
the name of it? The Tough Mudder, not the Tough Mudder, the other one.
Did you make it to Grandma's house?
What's going on?
It was nice though.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm just trying to figure this out. I thought that I had a gambling problem. Meanwhile, I haven't been to Atlantic City in 5 years. It's been 6 for Frank, and Janine made it twice during a global pandemic. That's pretty.
Out of the three of us.
Yeah. Definitely. I will call this. Me and my brother, right?
My gambling problem is that I lose.
Let me tell you something. Do you know how much money over the years your brother has saved me in Atlantic City? Because we would go, if I was with Janine's brother, if I was losing or whatever, and I'd be like, I got to take a break, I got to stop. Watching your brother gamble was enough.
It's so entertaining
to kind of like Janine's brother he's the kind of gambler that you read about. Like if I told you the stories, you wouldn't believe it.
Yep.
He's nuts.
He's nuts.
One of my favorite Nick Atlantic City stories. Your brother is on this
roulette.
Amazing, of course, he always plays roulette. He's on this amazing hot streak. And I'm not going to throw dollars around, but he must be killing it because friggin' pit bosses are surrounding him like a stripper at Bare Exposure. They are just
right.
What can we get you? Breakfast, this and that.
You could pretty much hear all the cameras just turn towards him.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening?
He's got wads of cash up in the room and this and that. And he goes, they invited me to some room. And I go, don't go to that room. I'm like, this sounds very shady. He's like, no, I think I get like there's like prizes in the room. I'm like, there cannot be prizes in the room. Sure enough, 15 minutes later, there's your brother walking across an Atlantic City casino lobby with a vacuum cleaner.
That was just give him a vacuum cleaner.
He's like, they put me in this room. They told me I had this many points, and this is what I was allowed to get. So I picked a vacuum cleaner.
That's what I never heard that. That's so funny.
It's just me,
You
him,
gotta
and
bring
a
it up.
Dyson
Bring
just
it up in the
right
group
across the
text.
lobby.
Bring it up in the group text.
That is really funny. Oh God.
And I said to him, I
One
go,
time-
why did you pick the vacuum cleaner? He goes, I think it was worth the most. He goes, let's go to the boardwalk and sell it.
Oh man.
Uh,
I remember
God.
watching him play roulette, and he literally had a stack of $25 chips, and how he was playing was he would take the chip and throw it in the air, and wherever
Yeah.
it landed,
yeah,
that was the number he picked.
he
Yeah.
does that.
Yeah.
And he was just throwing $25 chips in the air, and wherever they landed.
He would yell
This
at
guy-
he would yell at strangers walking by. He would just scream, pick a number, pick a number. He would just yell at people, and then he would play the number. And sometimes he would hit on the number.
I mean, one time this guy, I was there with him, got mad at him that he kept winning. And the guy was on the other side, and he goes, "Can you believe this fucking guy? I'm going to punch him in his face." He had no idea that I was with him. We don't look alike at all. And
Yeah.
he was about like 80 years old, this guy, and he was serious. And
That's
Nick just kept
unbelievable.
laughing at him. But the guy was like, I think he had to walk away because he was going to punch Nick.
These people, they get
Yeah.
jealous.
And Janine's brother is not a quiet guy. He is loud. He
No.
Yeah.
he could take over a room.
Yes, he can.
Yeah.
Easily.
Man.
So when we go into AC next, guys?
I don't know. I would
I feel
love.
the itch. I feel
When
the
all
itch.
this is calmed down, when everything's over, I'll go.
I'm not gonna lie
Why?
to you.
It's fine there now.
I would love to
don't.
go and do the show from Atlantic City. I think that would be so much fun.
I'd do that.
What did we do? Somebody gave me a room once. Was it? I forget where it was.
Resorts?
Where did we go that they gave us a room? Didn't they give us a room for something? Was it Borgata? How did we even get that? I don't even remember.
What are you talking about?
They messaged me or something. Somebody messaged me at they were like, "Do you want to come stay in Atlantic City?" Or I forget.
Ooh, really?
This sounds like an indecent proposal type situation.
Oh, I was talking about a staycation or something, and they were like, "Do you want to come stay at the Borgata?" And I was like,
Also,
"All
a
right."
representative of the Borgata
Was
reached out
listening to you?
I don't think it was them. I think it was some other, like a third party that just had like a comp at the Borgata, like a travel
That's
agency or
hysterical.
something
That's
like
shady.
that. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. It was like, I'm not a.
like a limo company or something.
I never did like pay to play. I'm like, I'm not going to mention it unless you buy advertising or whatever.
Right.
And they were like, well, you don't really have to mention it. They were like on the air. They were like, you could just like tweet about it or something. And I was like, well, that's a different story. That we could do.
Really?
Deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy enough. I did come to some realization this weekend though.
What's that?
Before I die, I want to do stand-up comedy someplace. I thank you for the silence.
Oh, we didn't think you were done talking. Do stand-up comedy.
I don't know.
Go for it.
I think it's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's just something I want to do. I kind of did always want to do it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So
Do
maybe
it.
you'll see me up there.
Do it once. I mean, I don't know if places are having.
Well, yes, because
comedians.
I just did it. I just went to one.
Yeah, but like it was probably like a big theater or something.
Open mics, I think. Have you ever gone to open mics? You ever
No.
gone?
Yeah,
You
open mics. You just jump up on stage. Problem with that is, the only people watching you are comedians waiting to go up on stage. So you're not going to get.
Yeah.
No matter how
Yeah.
funny you are, you're not going to get the laughs you think you're going to get.
Yeah, but that's not true.
That's true.
We got laughs when we went. Did you know that me and Frank did it?
No.
You didn't know this?
I went.
Where?
I didn't do it.
Oh, you
full
didn't do
honesty.
it?
No, you did it. I watched you do it. I was going to do it. I was ready to go, but then I looked around and I knew what was going to happen. I was going to say my material. I was going to get 0 laughs because there was like 12 people there, and they were all not looking at the person on stage. They were
Yeah.
looking at their own notes, because there's no audience. It's just comedians sitting there waiting for their turn.
Yeah. I did it.
So I didn't
that
want
was
to do it that way.
Where?
that was stand up New York.
City.
That was
Oh,
uptown.
really? You did it there? Okay.
So the first time I ever did stand up was at the Comedy Cellar.
No,
and
you
then
didn't.
Yeah, and then I did stand up New York, and then I think I might have went back to the Cellar. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
they have open nights.
I
You
want
can
to do it at the
Everybody
Cellar.
you could do it.
So here, this is my foray into stand up comedy. I do the first ever. A guy I worked with at CBS, he got comedy classes from his wife one year, and the finale was to go perform. He was so nervous, so I was like, "I'll do it with you if you want." He's like, "If you come with me, that would be great." I go, "Yeah, I'll fucking come with you." So go down, do it. I write some material. Neil Brennan. Was it Neil Brennan? Who's the guy? The guy who did Chappelle's show. His brother,
Okay.
who's also a famous comic, was hosting that night. And I go up there, and I literally did really well. Like, I had all this stupid
Oh,
material.
look at you.
I did really good. I got laughs. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So he comes off stage and he goes, was that really the first time you ever did this? And I go, yeah, first time I've ever done it. He's like, I don't believe you. I'm like, I swear to God, first time, no bullshit. He's like, you're really good. I was like, thank you. That was really nice. I go to do it at Stand Up New York. The laughs weren't like huge like they were there because there wasn't as many people, but everybody laughed at the exact same, like they laughed at all the jokes. And I remember getting off stage going, like it lost its luster. Like the repeating the same stuff over and over again. I couldn't bear it. I just was like, this stinks. I can't do this.
You know what's funny? Like the show that I just saw, Chris DiStefano, Chrissy Chaos.
Yeah.
You're getting paid to do that?
No, I'm not. But
okay.
Maybe he'll get me on Comedy
I
Cellar.
promise you, Janina, we'll get him to come on. I know I can get him to come on. But go ahead, finish your story.
I wonder if he repeats the same jokes over. And
Yes,
over.
they all repeat the same jokes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's impossible to have new, fresh material for every single show.
But I will say,
unless you're Janine Sabatino and that's like crazy stuff.
Right now in this, because nobody's been able to really get on and build up another act. You probably saw a lot of shit that he was saying, if not for the first time, he's probably only been saying it for a couple of weeks because there's been nowhere to go
out new stuff,
work out material. Yeah, he's probably
really?
Yeah, of course.
I was just like, because I've seen his stuff before, and I'm like,
did you hear any repeated jokes?
No.
Yeah, so he's probably testing out new stuff.
Is he just like going into this and like making stuff up? Because when he was talking to the audience, because it was a small theater and there was people right in front of him and he was talking to them. And you know what? Maybe you're just fucking funny and that's it.
No, he's funny. And riffing and crowd work.
To do that.
Yeah, riffing and crowd work for sure is there and in the room, but all the material is stuff that he's concocted and written. And
don't tell me that though.
And has said before.
Yeah, what did you think? You were just going to go up there and be funny? You got to write material.
Right. That's what I said. I said, well, some stuff is, organic.
Some.
But some stuff, I guess you have to just...
If you're going up there, they want you to do 5 minutes. You got to fill that 5 minutes. And once you get up there and you say one thing that's funny, you realize you got 4 minutes and 50 seconds left. You got to have material to fill that. It's longer than you think.
Yeah.
But I would say...
No, I'd like to do it.
Even the comic that riffs the most is going up there with 80% material that he's already said before.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You got to have a set.
It was a really good show. The theater was not big.
Yeah.
And I like the Comedy Cellar feeling. Like I like small, intimate.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the Comedy Cellar.
I don't like a lot of comics either.
The Comedy Cellar in the city, the Comedy Store in LA, these are clubs where all these comics go to work out material that when they take out on the road. So they're all that's what they're doing. Exactly. So in your dream to do stand up, what did you think was going to happen? You were just going to go up on stage and
just like this start talking?
Well, not for nothing. I can make people fucking laugh. So we'll see.
I know, but it's different.
But if the two of us are silent,
it is different. It's different.
If the two of us are silent and we said, Janine, you've got the next 5 minutes. You gonna be able to talk for 5 minutes and be funny?
Oh God, it's tough.
You got to write stuff. That's every comedian.
Right.
You got to sit down and write material, test it out, talk in front of a mirror.
Like,
you got to
do you say
work it all out.
here's the 5 jokes I'm gonna do. Maybe I won't do this one. I'll see how the other one does. I don't know.
Well, that's what open mics are for. You go and you test it out. If you don't like the way you said it, maybe you got a laugh. Maybe you didn't get a laugh, but you're sure it's funny. Maybe you got to reword it. Come at it at a different angle. There's a lot of work that goes into these. You think they just get up there and say it perfectly. What you don't see is them sitting down and scrutinizing every single word that they say.
Yeah, it's true.
That's a lot of it.
That's why I love this. Like, this to me is the fun. Like, this is where I get the high off of. Like, is the riff and the I don't know what's going to be said, and I don't know what Frank's going to say or Janine or even what I'm going to say.
Janine.
I love that stuff. Like, that to me is more fun. Like, that's why when I did it and I said the same shit and you got the same laughs, and it was kind of like I said I can't imagine doing this for a 4th or 5th time.
Well, that's what I said too. I'm like, well, how many times could they really repeat the same joke? And Gaetano was like, no, they do.
A lot.
They definitely do.
And for example, there was a kid in the audience who had bangs. So you could just imagine the guy who opened for him made fun of him, and then Chrissy did too. And he's like, you guys don't understand. You come out here, and the first thing you see is a guy in the audience with bangs. Come on, there's nothing better than thank you.
Who opened for him?
I don't know. I don't know his real name. James something.
Chris DiStefano is like top 5 emerging comedians right now.
Yeah, he is.
For me.
He is.
Like Sam Morril, Chris DiStefano. There's like a young emerging class right now that's so good. It's unfortunate they haven't had like a place to work out and do their stuff with, but
maybe that's what he just did.
In a couple of months, they'll all have a Netflix special.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think DiStefano's getting a True TV thing going. He's got a show coming to True TV. I just found out he had a pilot that didn't go on CBS.
Yes, I did see that.
And what's his name was playing his father? Chaz Palminteri.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, they know each other too.
Yeah.
From Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, didn't you know him?
Who?
Sam.
I don't know Chaz Palminteri, but I had him on the show. He's been on the show.
Well, you made us go see Goodfellas or Bronx Tale?
A Bronx Tale.
The play.
Yeah.
The play. And he was in it, right?
Yeah, he did. He takes the Bronx Tale on tour. I had him on, and he was like, "I got all these extra tickets. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll come."
And I drank wine from a bottle in the audience. Thank you. I do remember that night.
It was a good night.
After the wine, I can't really recall, but
right,
the wine,
it was really good.
By the way, that was one of those. That was one of those moments where, like, Chaz Palminteri is a god in an Italian household. So I would have like all these huge people on, and nobody in my family would give a crap. And it was like Chaz Palminteri came on, and they were like, "Oh my god, how did you get Chaz Palminteri?" And it was the easiest thing. He was like the nicest guy. It's always those little you don't think it's that big of a deal, and then everybody's like, "Oh, and finally made it. He had Chaz Palminteri." And it's like, I'm still making the same shit money. It doesn't,
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh, now you've made it.
Now we've made it. Talking.
Not Howard Stern.
Yeah.
That's okay.
No, Howard Stern. When Howard came in and Chaz Palminteri. I'm trying to think if there was another moment where my family was actually proud of me for 3 minutes. It was really those two moments.
Frankie C.
That was
I was very excited that Howard Stern came on the show.
In fact, my family goes, "Do you still talk to Frank?" I go, "Yeah." I go, "Why?"
What about Chaz?
I bet you we can get Chaz Palminteri on this too. He was super nice. Good. Yeah.
Have you seen him on Chris's podcast? Because he is pretty funny. I
did watch it. You know what? After you texted me the picture of Chris DiStefano, the stage. You shot me a picture of the stage. I swear to God, on my YouTube algorithm, the next day, his podcast or whatever came across my thing. Yeah.
That's so weird.
So they're everywhere. All right, we got to get through these next couple of topics very quickly.
Oh my God, there's still more?
4 more.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Cuomo, let's get into it quickly. He threatened, let me see here, a state lawmaker from Queens, can't trust anybody from Queens, remember that, says Governor Andrew Cuomo threatened that he'd be destroyed if he didn't help contain the damage over Cuomo's cover-up of nursing home deaths from COVID-19. Assemblyman Ron Kim. What?
Who did he threaten?
Assemblyman Ron Kim.
Oh, there you go.
Today, he said that he got a phone call from the governor last Thursday night, shortly after the New York Post exclusively revealed how Secretary to the Governor Melissa DeRosa privately admitted that Cuomo's administration withheld death data for fear it would be used against us by federal prosecutors. At first, there was silence on the phone, Kim said. Then the governor says, "Mr. Kim, are you an honorable man?" Kim, who said he was in the middle of bathing my kids, said Cuomo asked him to draft a statement to say that Melissa DeRosa said there was a federal investigation that they had to deal with that first. During the conversation, Kim said Cuomo warned him, "You have not seen my wrath. I have been biting my tongue for months."
Ooh.
Kim recalled Cuomo saying, I can tell the whole world what a bad person you are, and you will be finished. You will be destroyed." Kim said Cuomo was so angry that my wife could hear the governor yelling into the phone. At one point, the former state attorney general also asked Kim if he was a lawyer, which he is not. After that call, we were devastated. My wife didn't sleep at all, Kim said.
See, when Chaz Palminteri threatens someone, everybody, he becomes a legend.
Yeah.
Now you can't leave.
Now you just can't leave. This just goes to show, and again, Cuomo's my guy. We went to the same high school, but all these guys are scumbags. That's why you can't be on
everybody, man.
You can't be on any of these people's side.
I really judged him wrong. From the beginning, I thought, oh, you know what? He's going to do it. He's going to bring us all together. He's going to do, what he's doing, what's the best. Nope. He's not. Yeah. Sorry.
You realize, just like
he lied.
Just like when you
they all lie.
Just like when you realize your parents are real people. They're not superhuman people. They're people. Right. They do as good a job as they can do, and that's,
Some people do shitty stuff.
Yeah. Listen to this. First human challenge trials involving COVID-19 are going to begin in Britain.
Challenge trials?
What the hell is this?
Ethics approval has been granted for a human challenge study, which will see 90 healthy volunteers between the ages of 18 and 30 deliberately infected with COVID-19. It is hoped that the results will help scientists better understand the disease and lead to improvements in treatment and vaccination programs.
There's plenty of people who are infected.
That they get tested.
You don't have to voluntarily infect people.
Yeah.
I can see why they would want to do it, though. They're
to
probably
see how it first comes in contact?
Yep.
Maybe. Yeah.
Honestly, I thought they already did this.
I thought they did too, but this is the story everywhere that this is the world's first human challenge. That's
I would sign up for that.
Because I thought
they paying these people.
I thought early on into
get COVID.
I thought early on into the pandemic, people were voluntarily getting it to see how it all worked.
I would. I would.
I don't know,
man.
I don't know if I would.
Comment below.
Not
really?
Yeah, that's a great comment below. Would you get COVID voluntarily?
Would you voluntarily get injected with COVID?
What's the pay? Because that's what I want to know. They don't say here, but what's the pay? Because nobody's just doing it for humanity's sake. You got to get paid for that. What do you get?
How many people did they say? 90 something?
Yeah. 90 volunteers.
Here's the thing. We're all going to get it eventually anyway. So might as well get paid to get it. We are, or we've already had it.
Maybe.
It's funny that Nate Bargatze, I don't know how you say his name, but he's got a bit where he's like, everybody had COVID back in January. He's like everybody has the same story. I think I had it back in January. And it's so funny because I said the same shit. My wife and I got sick in January of last year. We thought we had it,
Could have been. We had no idea at the time.
Yeah, it could have been. Well, no, they did that study that they people who donated blood, they went back and they looked at the blood samples from November of 19, and it was already here. back in November of 19. So that was before everything shut down in March of 2020. Let's go over to this. Facebook in Australia. What up to my Australians out there watching and listening? You know what's funny? We put these out at
Put some shrimp on the barbie.
We put these out at night now, and like at 3:00 in the morning, you see a little blip in the analytics when it hits Australia, and people start watching it over there.
Oh,
when it's normal time for them over there.
Yeah, or 4 or wherever it is, but you could see when the Australia, and they all start commenting at the same time. It's adorable. Facebook restricts Australians from sharing or viewing news content, while Google strikes a deal with News Corp. So Facebook in Australia announced that they're going to be blocking users from reading or sharing news content in response to a proposed media bargaining law that would require Facebook and Alphabet Inc.'s Google to pay the country's news publishers for content. Hours earlier, Google struck a deal with Rupert Murdoch's News Corp to start paying for the use of its journalism in the United States, United Kingdom, and Australia.
Oh, God.
So if I'm ABC News or Fox News or whoever, I would have to pay Facebook.
No,
the other way to use it.
It's the other way around, because all these outlets wanted to go on social media so people could spread their whatever. Now in Australia, what the government is saying is, if Facebook or Google want material from Fox or ABC or whatever, that Google should have to pay these outlets for. It's an interesting concept, because normally that would be the case, but the reason why they don't have to pay is because of all the exposure that they're getting,
Right.
Yeah.
How else are you going to consume this material if somebody doesn't put it on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter and share it with you?
Yeah, and the one organization that pays and gets on Facebook, they're going to be the ones that take over, so that everybody's going to jump in.
And the thing is that Facebook in particular has been putting newspapers out of business and magazines practically out of business, yet they're relying on their journalists to create all the content for people to consume. How many people go, I get my news from Twitter or I get my news from Facebook, when realistically they're getting their news from Time
watch the news, watch any news program, you hear the anchors always say, the New York Times is reporting that blah, blah, blah. The Washington Post reports blah, blah, blah. All the news comes from investigative reporters that come from newspapers.
They're doing all the work, but because your Aunt Maggie retweeted it, you go, I saw it on Twitter.
Exactly. And I saw it from ABC or whoever. No.
Yeah.
It originated from these journalists.
And finally, does Lil Nas X have hooties?
This is
don't
weird.
know.
What?
Anthony said this to me in the beginning before we started, and I was like, what are you talking about? And apparently, Anthony noticed on his Twitter page that he has what looks like implants, breast implants.
This is from his official Twitter page. I'm not going to keep it up for long, but you can go to his Twitter and take a look at it. Look at you.
Is that some kind of weird filter, or did he? What does it say?
Do that again.
It might be a Photoshop. It might be a Photoshop. I don't know, but
what did he write on there about it?
Oh,
the caption is, you could Lil Nas X on Twitter. Everybody go look at it. The caption is, got bored, so I bought biddies. Let's call them. What do you guys think? But then he also
if I'm bored.
He also released a stream, and then here he is like singing in a car, but he cuts himself off from and it looks like as the camera dips a couple of times, it looks like there might be something there, but it doesn't look like
he has biddies in this shot.
No, it doesn't. God. It doesn't.
No, I think that was a Photoshop job.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't every guy want biddies?
In a way.
In a way, see?
Yeah, kind of in a way.
At least you didn't flat out say no, Frank. I know.
It's just a strange way to promote. You know what I mean? To promote
anything.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if he said, "Look, I know how to use Photoshop."
Right.
Something.
Different story.
Yeah. Also, is it a little? I hate to sound like Frank, for lack of a better term, but is a little.
Oh God.
Is it transphobic?
No, I wasn't gonna say that, but is it a little like, are you slighting all the trans people by like being like,
That's my point.
use this sort of outlet to promote my album? You know what I mean? Like it feels a little.
Oh God, Frank.
I mean, say
Anthony.
it. He said it.
And I said, "Oh, Anthony." Anthony.
Yeah, like I could imagine some people might be getting upset by this. Be like, "What the hell, man? This is, I don't know."
I don't know. I mean, there's two ways to look at everything, and if it's just a joke where he's like, "I gave myself boobs," I don't think it was meant in any way to insult anybody.
Yeah, I just miss the old days when you used to
Unless I'm wrong. I don't know.
Used to like go on a drug bender or used to get into a horrible car accident to promote an album,
Right.
or be involved in a shooting or,
It's called the 90s.
Yeah, those were the good old days. Now you got to have fake movies just to promote a record.
Exactly.
Strange times.
Got us talking.
Yeah.
America. Thanks, millennials.
Between Morgan Wallen using
You're
the
also
N-word
a millennial, by the way.
and this guy getting
I know.
Hooties, I don't even know. I don't even know what to think anymore on album promotion.
It's kind of scary.
It is. It is.
I don't know.
Life.
It seems like he was just doing a Photoshop thing. I don't know if it's real.
Let's see.
Remember the weekend had all those like, what's he doing to
I
his face?
still don't know what that's about.
And that was all just for the Super Bowl thing. So
What did that have to do with anything, though? What was
Right.
Is the album called like? Is the new album called like Face Surgery or something?
I don't know. But nobody get ass implants because I'm going to use that to promote
What?
an upcoming podcast.
Too late.
I'm going to get Kim Kardashian-sized ass implants. Everybody, wait for it.
Some more junk in that trunk, man.
That's right. Dropping soon, baby. Dropping soon.
I like
There's
it.
nothing wider than Frank saying junk in the trunk, by the way. Nothing wider.
By the way, when
Pretty white of me.
when are the what's the stupid award show that we bet on?
Oh, that's what's today?
When is that coming? The 17th.
Is it Sunday?
When's it? Next Sunday. A week and a half from now.
We still have to figure out what Janine's going to put up for what she's going to put up for.
And what I'm going to put up because I'm not doing what we said.
Yeah,
you are.
What you said.
Me?
If I'm doing what I'm doing, you could wear
Right.
you could wear a hat, please. Let's not even compare these two things.
It's not just wearing a hat.
If you're not going to wear the hat, then I'm not going to do my thing, and there's no reason to have a bet.
That's fine.
We'll just let down the entire audience.
I think they forgot
I
about the
can't
bet
believe
already.
it. No, they didn't.
We
Just
not.
reminded them. If we didn't talk about it ever again,
Absolutely
I
not.
feel like we would. I forgot about it. I don't think we would have caused any problems.
People haven't forgot about that, and people are still checking in to see if that whatever her name is claimed the sync thing.
I will mention
my
it again.
God.
Melissa Crowder.
Still hasn't claimed it.
She's the winner.
Okay.
If she sees this message, this message. You got to contact us.
hasn't
We've
claimed
only
it.
got a couple of weeks left, and maybe we'll have to give it to someone else.
Well, anyway, we have to figure out what Janine, you have to come up with something. We got to come up with something.
Can you dye your hair?
Oh my God, no.
Like go brunette?
That's too.
Yeah, because you could easily change that back, no?
I'll tell you what's on the table right now, and I don't even know how we would procure this, but she would have to, I'm assuming in a Tupperware, smell somebody's vomit. That's the only thing we've come up with, because that's the reaction Frank had to the MAGA hat, and that's the reaction I had to getting a butt swab. So that's the closest thing I got right now, and I don't really want to see that, to be honest with you. I mean, I really want to see Frank wear a hat, because I definitely
not going to.
because I don't want to lose, because that's for damn sure.
I refuse to participate if that's the thing.
Then that's no fun. You're not a team player.
Come on, Frank.
Then I'm not a team.
He'll get a colonoscopy if you do that.
He's already got one.
No.
He already had one.
I've had a
Did
couple.
you have one?
I've had like 7. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, let me find out. He's like, Doc, sign me up. I
Yeah.
have to get one next month? Okay.
I volunteer for them. I sneak in. The way Lil Nas X gets Hooties is the way I get colonoscopies, basically.
His back door is like it's like Grand Central Station at this point. You know?
All fair. I want to know why you got them.
Because
Not a pleasure.
it's not a terribly interesting story. I had to, get some things taken care of. That's all.
Just medical stuff. That's all.
Yeah.
Man stuff. Okay.
Just man stuff. It's nothing gross. It's just trying not to get that cancer is all. That's basically
Okay.
That's basically it. But I'll be disappointed. If Frank, you such a baby. It's just a hat. Like, what's the big deal? It's not that big.
Do it, man. It's like I feel like it would burn my head.
Oh my God.
You got to do it.
I don't have to do anything.
No, you don't have to, but I feel like it's all in good fun. I feel like I have it the worst. Why are we trying to convince you
I know,
here?
I know. He's please, he's sticking something up his butt.
Yeah, but come on. You do it. You do that. You do that once a month anyway.
For me?
No, I definitely don't. Well, I didn't hear what you said, Janine.
How about just playing like audio of people throwing up or dry heaving?
No, you'd have to actually smell it. I don't even know how we would get any for you. Like, how would you? It's not like you could just order.
There's got to be a spray, because there's like fart spray. You think there's like vomit smell spray?
There might be. Can we order that? I don't even. I feel like we'll be breaking some law. I feel like if I Google that right now, I'm going to wind up on an FBI list.
You're on a list.
Yeah. Can you order vomit?
On that note, how long is this podcast right now?
It's too long.
About 4 hours.
Yeah, it's too long is the answer.
Signing off.
We'll continue to figure it out on the back end. Frank's going to definitely wear the hat.
That's what you said.
Watch Frank wins in a friggin' landslide. Just watch he just destroys
he is.
and runs the
now,
table.
If I knew we were betting, I would have taken a little more care to pick these things. I picked a lot of my answers based on, all right, you guys picked that one, you picked that one, so I'll pick the other one.
Yeah.
That's what I based a lot of these on.
All right. Well, I promise that we'll talk about this and we'll come up with something entertaining for the audience because that's what it's all about.
Here's what we picked, but these are our picks.
Oh
by the way.
my God.
All right. Appreciate you guys watching and or listening. Of course, don't forget to go out and support our Hero Soap Company, pals. They're the best. Link in the description below. Order up some soap for yourself. Proud sponsor of the podcast there. You buy a bar, they send a bar over to the troops, to the greatest. Link in the description. AnthonyOnAir.com has links as well to not only Hero Soap, but our Clips channel and, of course, the merch store and everything else. So go check that out. Appreciate you guys watching and or listening.